Hey guys, Carlo Filippo here, your muscle chef, ready to talk to you about this guy, the chicken pound. What do we do with the chicken pound? We prepare grilled chicken in different flavors, 6 to be exact. If you're serious about bodybuilding and you meal prep, don't go anywhere else. This is the company for you.
RX Television on RxMuscle.com. This is Ask Dave, better known as hashtag Ask Dave, your 30-minute question and answer show with Dave Palumbo. All your questions on diet, training, supplementation, of course, IFBB Pros competitions. This past weekend, it was the 2020 Arnold Classic, of course, highlighted by William Bonac winning Saturday night's affairs. They now bring in Dave Palumbo. Dave, still a lot of rumblings going on from this past weekend. I did want to make one particular mention only because you and I spoke about it and we felt like we needed to do a little bit more to promote it, and that is the excellent work done by a photographer, Ralph Noble, this whole weekend. Some of his shots, some of his photos shared widely across the bodybuilding internet landscape. He did a phenomenal job for us this weekend.
Yeah, the guy he's a little prodigy, and I've been working with him now it's been a number of years, right? Since we started working with him, maybe over 5 years now. And,
4 or 5 years.
He's very responsible, aside from when his flight gets canceled, but this year it didn't, so it was good. I like working with him. He's a very good guy. He's genuine. He's been over my house before when he drove back from Tampa once when he shot from us. And I really like the guy, and I think he's super talented, and he's going to continue to shoot. We basically covered 3 shows here. We covered the Arnold, we covered the Olympia, we covered the New York Pro. Ralph's at all 3 of those shows. Maybe, I don't know, we'll have to see what goes on with any of the other, with Athleticon, but those are the 3 shows we predominantly cover, and he does a phenomenal job for us.
So again, if you haven't already seen his photos, check out the contest gallery at RxMuscle.com. Dave, where is that shirt from? I just noticed it right now while you were talking.
You like it? My client Bailey got it for me. He had made one for when he was competing in the fall, and I said, I really like that shirt. That's a great shirt. I said, I wish I was that creative. He's like, I'll send you one. So you sent me one. So it has my name on the back. Right? I like the color scheme, and
yeah,
to get the species green and the team in silver, which I thought it looks kind of cool. And so, yeah, I always try to showcase all the shirts that people send me. I get literally so many shirts that I could throw out. I could wear one shirt a day and throw it out every day. And I really appreciate when people send me clothing, and I try to wear every shirt that I get.
Let's get into the questions. The first 2 questions, of course, from the Dave Palumbo Experience app. First question, well, it has to do with Big Ramy. Dave, I don't know if you heard any rumors that were being spread out. Now, Ramy did address them on his Instagram story. There were rumors going around that Ramy, I guess, abruptly quit. Did you hear anything of that nature?
Quit bodybuilding?
Yeah, quit bodybuilding.
Everyone quits bodybuilding after they compete and don't do well. Don't you guys know that by now? They quit for like a week and then they unquit. Did he quit? I didn't even hear that one.
No. I just wanted to ask if you had heard any of the rumblings.
I didn't hear that he quit, but it's possible. Everyone quits, like I said. Look, when you don't do well in a show, your first instinct is like, I'm not doing this anymore. I put all my time and effort and energy, and what am I getting out of it? I'm not getting anything out of it. I am not doing this again. And then you forget after like about a week about how angry you were, and you're like, okay, back to the drawing board. Because if you love bodybuilding, which is what 99% of the bodybuilders that compete, especially at the pro level, love bodybuilding. They would easily pay, not get paid, they would easily pay to compete because that's how much they love it. So, it sucks when you don't get a good placing, or it sucks when you maybe don't peak out right, or it sucks when you don't live up to the expectations of what people have. And you want to just kind of go hide and bury your head in the sand and maybe think, oh, people don't like me anymore. But Monday morning comes and all that changes. So I'm sure Ramy was a little depressed after the show. I'm sure he wanted to win. He really wasn't ready to win the way he looked. maybe he was a week out, but he wasn't the day of the show. And so he's got to go back to the drawing board and say, okay, I was pretty good. I was pretty close. I got my physique back. What do I have to do now to take it to the next level and get to where I need to be? And it's a learning curve. And you see, when you take a year off and you miss a long period of time, you kind of get out of that, that mode of figuring out what works. And it's like you're starting over again sometimes. So I think Ramy will be fine. I think he should hit a couple more shows. I don't think he should be playing this I only compete once a year type of game, because it's not in his benefit. Until he nails that formula that's perfect, where he actually gets into the kind of shape that we know he's capable of and can repeat it over and over and over again, he should do a lot more shows than he's been doing. Once he gets it down, then he can do one show a year if he wants to, 2 shows a year, because he has the formula, but he still hasn't perfected the formula. So now's the time to test it out on some of these next shows, whether it be New York Pro or it be Arnold South America. Test it out and get the formula down pat so that you can peak your body perfectly. Once Ronnie Coleman got the formula right, when he won that Night of Champions in 1998 and beat Kevin Levrone, I knew when he was going to that Olympia, even though a lot of people didn't have him as a favorite, I knew that guy was going to win that Olympia, because when I saw him at Night of Champions, he was unbelievable. And that's what Ramy's got to do. He's got to become unbelievable at some of these smaller shows and then take that formula and bring it to the Olympia.
Well, again, the reason I asked you is because I wanted to see, I guess we can get to the bottom of, where the rumor started from. But Ramy did confirm, it was yesterday in an Instagram story, that no, he's not quitting. And that at the time, I don't know what the resolution is, but at the time, he was still awaiting a visa. So I believe the plan is for him to compete at the Arnold Australia. But in that story, he mentioned that he was awaiting an Australian visa. So
now, let me ask you a question, Sid. Are they restricting travel because of this coronavirus outbreak? Because I know they have a lot more cases there than we have here. And so I'm wondering if they're even allowing people from other countries to come in. Because, they don't let anyone come in and out. I mean, you can't bring food in and out. You can't have animals in and out of Australia. They're pretty restrictive on preventing these disease outbreaks. I mean, you can't bring any fruits in with you. They'll put you in jail if you try to sneak stuff in.
Well, it's affecting things worldwide, and especially on the sporting scene now. Just to give an update, because I know for obvious reasons there was a lot of fury when it was announced that the Arnold Sports Festival, everything aside from the Arnold Classic, was going to be canceled, and then obviously there were restrictions as far as fan attendance. And that was, I guess, a real point of contention amongst the bodybuilding fans, the fan attendance, citing the fact that, okay, you have the Columbus Blue Jackets down the street, and those games are still going to go on as planned. And the bigger thing was that they're going to have the first 4 in Dayton, Ohio, for the NCAA March Madness tournament. Now, from what I had just heard, those games are under threat of being played with no fans either. So clearly this is really affecting Ohio. And then there was a joint memo Dave released yesterday, before we go to this question, a joint memo between Major League Soccer, the NHL, baseball, and I believe baseball as well, citing that they were looking into this and that there is a chance that some games in the near future might be played in front of empty stadiums. That's exactly what's happening in Italy right now. Italy, sort of the epicenter of this outbreak in Europe. Yeah. Serie A, the Italian soccer league, games indefinitely suspended. So clearly this is affecting a lot of things in a lot of different walks of life. So let's get to the question on a much lighter-hearted topic, and that is, Dave, I watched your segment with Milos about training Ramy. What do you think about his idea about squeezing the muscle for up to a 10 count on each rep?
When I trained, what I did was I did the rep so that I felt the muscle. And this is something that I never did before. When I first started training, I just went through the motions because I figured, I didn't really know what it felt like to squeeze a muscle because I didn't have any muscle, right? And so I try to emulate and copy what people did form-wise. And a lot of times I didn't feel it. As I started developing and I started training more and getting more involved with, working with people that really understood how to train properly, I learned how to connect my mind to the muscle, meaning that when I actually worked chest, I felt it in my chest. When I worked shoulders, I felt it in my shoulders. And that's really what people need to focus on. Now, if Milos' technique helps you do that, then it's great. But I don't think it's necessary. When I would squat, I would lower the weight so slowly that people would sometimes think I was getting stuck. It wasn't that I was counting or that I had a specific amount of time. I lowered it so that I knew I was controlling it. I paused for like a 1 Mississippi count at the bottom, which is basically what it took to stop the weight from coming down, and then I came up. So I controlled the movement on the way down, and then I exploded on the way up. And that's how I squat, and that's how I did every exercise pretty much, whether it be bench press, control the way down, squeeze, and push it up. And that was enough for me. I didn't have to actually turn it into a specific number of reps or beats in my head. I just did it instinctually, and I think that's what you have to do. If you control the weight, you're going to get good response. And I think a lot of people just don't do that, and that's the problem. They just kind of use momentum. They're worried about getting the weight up. They don't do full range of motion, and then they wonder why they don't get any development.
Let's go to our second question, again from the Dave Palumbo Experience app. Dave, would I be correct that 200 mg test and 200 mg DECA would give me better results and less side effects than 400 mg test?
I get this question all the time. What do you think about this versus this cycle? Don't worry about it. I mean, why don't you do 400 tests and 400 DECA a week? You'll get even better response. You know, two drugs tend to synergize each other better. However, it depends what your goal is. Obviously, testosterone is stronger than DECA, so if you use 400 milligrams of testosterone, you might get better results, even though DECA and testosterone together are two separate drugs and they kind of augment each other. So the question is, what is your goal? I mean, once you start putting two drugs together, you're stacking steroids at that point. You might as well use 400 tests and 200 DECA, or 400 and 400. That'll give you the maximum results. I can guarantee that. So you got to ask your question, what is your goal? If you want to use HRT dosages and you like a little DECA because it makes your joints feel good, do 100 tests, 100 DECA. I did that after rehabbing my quad, for many years back, when it first happened for 6 weeks. But you can't, there's no, this is the right way, this is the wrong way. It's what works and what doesn't work. Experiment, try it both ways, see what you think works better for you. And I just want to make a point of view. These two questions were from my Dave Palumbo Experience app. These are questions that people can ask me on a daily basis, anything they want. If you're a member of the app for $29 a month, and you can download it from the iTunes or Android store and put it on your phone. It's all the videos and articles I've ever written in one place. It gives you the ability to ask me as many questions as you want on the app. Everyone sees the questions and the answers, so it's an open forum in that sense. And I do a question-answer video exclusively for the app. So it's like a second to Ask Dave every week just for the app members. Plus we put up a workout of the week. So you can try different workouts we put up every single week so that people have something to change up as far as their training goes. It's a great resource. I really, if you're looking to have like a little coach in your pocket, so to speak, me, and you don't want to spend a lot of money, for $29 a month, you can't beat that.
Of course, we're getting a lot of questions, so we're going to switch now to our Instagram questions. Again, if you're not following us, official_RxMuscle. And obviously, we're getting a lot of questions related to this past weekend's Arnold Classic. Let's go to Floyd Manta. What do you think Sergio Oliva Jr. needs to do to continue to win or place in the top 5 of shows? So I'll take it a step further, I guess. What do you think Sergio Oliva Jr. needs to do to place himself in that elite level of open class bodybuilders?
Keep making improvements. I mean, he's been doing it since he turned pro. I think he really got serious this last year. He got all the drama out of his life, which was mostly his relationships with women, and he's been focusing on bodybuilding. He moved Chris Cormier in to help keep him stay focused and help him pose and train, and he's made the best progress of his career so far. So if he can have a solid couple month off season before he has to get ready to do another show, then I think he's going to make great improvements. To be honest with you, I don't even think I think he should try to maybe hit a smaller show, win it, qualify for the Olympia, then just work, put some size on, and then diet in for the Olympia. I think he can come into the Olympia 5 pounds bigger, and if he does, I think he's a definite top 7 guy, maybe higher. He's got charisma on stage. I said it over and over again. It's something that you cannot teach people. Your eyes go to him. You want to see him do well. He brought tremendous conditioning to the stage. I think he was completely overlooked at the prejudging. Luckily, they kind of pulled him out for that night show, and they gave him. And I think he was worse at the night show. I thought he was better at prejudging, but he got the props that he deserved, and I think he could have been maybe a place or two higher. But I think it it was a good showing to make top 5 at the Arnold Classic. That is huge for Sergio, and I think it's only up from here as long as he can keep his head focused and not lose sight of what the final prize is, so to speak. Which is, I know what he wants. He wants to be on that Olympia stage vying for that title one day. Can he do it? I think he can.
Let's go to Shane B. Fitness. I need a shoulder replacement, but I want to continue bodybuilding, so I haven't gone through with it yet. Do you think you could compete again with your replacement, or would you not be able to lift heavy enough?
I'm very strong right now. I'm scary strong. It took me a long time after. It took me over a year after I got the second shoulder done. But when I train at my house sometimes at 11 o'clock at night, and I'm doing cable bicep curls with more weight than I was prior to the shoulder replacement. And I have to stop myself because I'm getting very strong now because I'm not in any pain. I was training with a lot of pain for many years, even when I was still competing. And so I'm getting to the point where I feel like I could probably, and I haven't taken a drug, in 5 years. So I'm so strong that I'm nervous, and I purposely don't lift as heavy as I can. So I think that, and the reason I do this is because I don't want to wear the shoulder down. I want this stuff to last. I'm not competing anymore, so it doesn't matter. I know I could put more size on, but probably the more size you put onto your body, the more force it's going to exert on that replacement. And theoretically, the head of the humerus that's been replaced is solid. It's the cup that it goes into. If you keep slamming into that cup, it could break a little bit. That's what usually what gives out first, the plastic in there. So the question remains: can you train? Yeah, you could train heavy. It's up to you. What you want to put your body through. If I would have had needed a shoulder replacement in my 20s, for maybe I injured or something, did something in a car accident, I probably would have pushed it and seen how far I could push it because I do feel good. I'm in no pain whatsoever. However, I probably would have shortened the life of the joint replacement. So it's a personal decision, what you want to do. At 50, I'm not competing anymore. I don't need to be huge. But I do want to train to be strong and to have good posture and to feel good. So I'm willing to push it a little bit, but I'm not willing to put the weight on there that I would need to get huge. Not that I want to get huge anyway, because I don't want the joint to wear out. See, it has to be a personal decision what you want to do. I know guys with shoulder replacements that are lifting very heavy, and they have no problems with it. And they haven't needed a replacement. But look at Ronnie Coleman. Ronnie Coleman had his hips done, and he was leg pressing fairly heavy, and now he had to go back and get one of them redone again. So you don't know. It depends how your body holds up to it. I babied it a long time before I started. I couldn't do a push-up. I couldn't do a girl push-up. I couldn't do a push-up on my knee. I couldn't do one push-up. And it took me about 5 weeks to be able to do a real, like a push-up with my knees on the ground. Once I got to that, I was able to do one push-up or two push-ups, I think I did, in the regular position. But it was so hard. It was like I felt like I was like the weakest guy of all time. But I built up to it. I had to retrain the muscles, because what happens is when you have a bad shoulder, you start compensating using the wrong muscles. It's amazing. I could do 15 really good push-ups. I could probably do 20 if I really pushed myself. And that was unfathomable, just a couple, 6 months ago. So you can definitely train heavier with a shoulder replacement. How far you want to push it is up to you.
Let's go to Cody Dial. Question, I guess, relevant to what's going on right now. What is the correlation between anabolics and a weakened immune system? Does it apply to all compounds or only certain compounds? How would one prevent this from occurring?
Yeah, I don't think that anabolics suppress the immune system. I think it enhances the immune system. Think about it. Let's look at the other end of the spectrum. Catabolic steroids that they give for inflammatory diseases, like prednisone. Okay, if you have severe inflammation, they give you prednisone, right? It reduces inflammation. But prednisone is also given to people who have organs transplanted because it suppresses the immune system. So catabolic steroids suppress immunity, okay? And that's why we use them, after organ transplantation to prevent the immune system from attacking the new organ. Anabolic steroids do the opposite of catabolics. They build muscle as opposed to breaking it down. They build up the immune system as opposed to suppressing it. So they do the complete opposite. So a lot of people confuse, hey, catabolic steroids do this, I guess anabolics must do it as well. that's not the case. Now, when you come off anabolics, because your levels go so low, you can get sick because your immune system is low because you've crashed your immune. Basically, what you've done is you have all this anabolic steroid here, now you take it away, you're not producing any of your own, you have nothing left, and now your immune system is low. So anabolics don't suppress the immune system. Their withdrawal can cause, sickness because, and I used to, every year after I would go off with my cycle, I would always get the flu or some kind of crazy, 48-hour virus because my immune system just was terrible until my body started kicking on and producing some of its own stuff. And that just goes to the equation. But yeah, anabolics don't suppress the immune system. However, let's say, I see a lot of people telling me, I've been talking to a lot of my clients in Italy. Italy, there's quarantines. They won't go to the gym. All the gyms are closed. So these guys don't know what to do. They're like, should I go off cycle? They're like, because I feel like I'm wasting the drugs. I'm like, you do that, you're really going to be vulnerable to this virus because your immunity is going to be terrible. So I say at least stay on a hormone replacement level of 200 to 300 milligrams a week to keep your immune system strong.
Let's go to the natural guy. Another Arnold Classic related question. Dave, where do you see Patrick Moore in 5 years from now? Do you think he'll have to sacrifice his classic lines at some point in the future? Isn't he too classic anyways for the open division? I personally think he could do better in the classic physique division.
I don't think he can make the weight in classic, and I think that's the problem. He's what we call a tweener. He's between classic and open. He'll be a great open guy. He's got to I think he should take off the rest of the year and wait till next year to compete. He's got to put on, at least 10 to 15 pounds of muscle. He's still 235 on stage. This guy has got to weigh, 250 at least. If he's 250 on stage, he'll be able to stand next to these guys. Because when you see him alone, he was a little flat at this last show, but even at the Olympia, alone he looks amazing. You put him next to these other guys in the lineup, he looks very small. Even though he's crisp, he's got great shape, his conditioning is good, he needs more size on his body, and that's going to take time. You got to remember, he started late. Hasn't been doing this for 15 years. So give the guy a break, let him go back to the drawing board, put that size on and come back to the stage next year. If he wants to come back to the Arnold, I bet if he comes back, if he waits a whole year and does the Arnold again, he'll shock a lot of people.
Let's go to Banyanats. Ivan, can a high carb day while doing the carb cycling replace a refeed day, a caloric surplus, and have the same benefit of boosting the metabolism and regulating the thyroid hormone, etc.?
Yeah, a clean carb day is pretty much going to do, scientifically speaking, what a cheat meal would do, which would be stimulate metabolism. However, in some people, their metabolism actually speeds up so fast on the clean carbs that they burn through the clean carbs too easily, and they actually look flatter the next day. So sometimes a cheat meal is good because it's like dirty, crappy, messy carbs that kind of just get stored. They don't really get used as fuel that much, and so you tend to look a little fuller from a crap meal as opposed to, and it's usually more calorie dense, than a clean carb meal. So depending on how close we are to a show, how good the person's metabolism, that will dictate whether I give them clean carbs or I give them, a real cheat meal in the sense of, like the burger and fries or something like that. And so it's dependent on how the person looks and their metabolism.
Let's go to Johnny Polk. You've talked about adrenal fatigue before. Is it reversible by decreasing caffeine intake? I often feel very tired when I'm using large amounts of caffeine daily. I have also weird twitches and nervousness, especially after training.
Yeah, I think you're overstimulating your immune system, your hormonal system in your body, and your nervous system for that matter. So your body's just not responding to caffeine anymore because it can't. So taking away the caffeine, let those receptors regenerate themselves, sleep a lot, take a couple days off from the gym, let your body recover. Remember, the number one way the nervous system recovers from fatigue, is through sleep. Believe me, I know that. I haven't really been sleeping that much. I'm always fatigued. But I had a good night's sleep. Like when I was in New York, one night I slept like 6 or 7 hours straight. And I woke up the next day, it was like someone gave me 25 cups of coffee. I was so mentally focused because I felt good because my nervous system got to rest and actually regenerate itself. So if you're doing a lot of caffeine, you're not sleeping much, take that caffeine away. You'll feel terrible for a couple of days. It's fine. You'll go through a little withdrawal, but then sleep a lot. And what you'll notice is that you regenerate those receptors And you will, once again, if you want to start taking in a little bit of caffeine, you'll respond really well to it. And that's just normal. Also, when you take a lot of caffeine, it causes you to release more neurotransmitters. So what happens is you start running out of them. And that's really the definition of clinical depression or overtraining. It's the same phenomenon. You've basically exhausted the supply of neurotransmitters. Now, neurotransmitters like adrenaline, norepinephrine, epinephrine, acetylcholine, serotonin, these things, GABA, these neurotransmitters enable these nerves to talk to each other in your brain, in your body, the nerves to the muscle, so the nerve can tell the muscle contract. Okay, these things are not hardwired. They don't touch each other. The nerves and the muscles don't touch. The nerves and the nerves don't touch. There's a gap between them. It's called the synapse. In that gap is where these neurotransmitters get released. So this nerve releases neurotransmitters that cross this little space, connect to these, and basically says, hey guys, contract. And then that nerve tells the next nerve what to do, and so on and so on and so on. So if you're running out of the chemicals that are being released into this synapse or this space that enables these nerves or nerves to muscle to talk, you don't get the reaction you want. And you will get twitches, and you will get all kinds of weirdness, and you will get depressed and stuff like that, because you've run out of the chemicals that the nervous system uses to communicate with itself. The only way those chemicals will be regenerated will be through sleep and rest. Okay, you can cause your body to crank out a little bit extra by taking stimulants, but after a while that stops working, and then you feel just terrible all the time. So that's your body's way of saying, hey bud, slow down, take a couple days off from the gym, get more sleep and rest, and you'll feel better in the morning, so to speak.
Let's go to Escobar season. This is a commonly asked question. I'm not sure when's the last time we answered it. Biggest difference between Metamucil and FIBERLYZE?
Yeah, I think we did in a roundabout way. First of all, FIBERLYZE is a dual fiber supplement. It contains not only soluble fiber, but insoluble fiber. Metamucil just contains psyllium, which is soluble fiber. Also, and I learned this through my research with, when I was doing these fiber supplements and creating FIBERLYZE for Species Nutrition, there's different what we call psyllium by far is the best soluble fiber because it's 8 times more potent on a gram for gram basis than oat bran. Oat bran is the highest naturally occurring source of soluble fiber in the diet. The problem is that there's carbs related to that, so no one really takes oat bran as a fiber source if they're dieting because there's too many grams of carbs associated with it. But also, you have to eat so much of it because it's not as potent, in terms of concentration. Psyllium is very concentrated, so you could take a 9 grams or 10 gram dose of psyllium. It's like you're taking 80 grams of oat bran. And there's no absorbable carbohydrates in psyllium. It's all fiber. So if you take in 9 or 10 grams of psyllium, you absorb 0 grams of it. So that's good. The problem with psyllium is this is where they get you. There's different grades of it, or what we call swell rates. In other words, the swell rate is a determination of how much the product swells or absorbs water. So when you put psyllium, which is a soluble source of fiber, into water, the water gets absorbed. How much the psyllium absorbs and swells will dictate the strength of how the stuff works. So you want the highest swell rate psyllium, which is what we put into FIBERLYZE. I spend the most money buying the highest swell rate so that you get the best result. That's why when people say I take Metamucil, sugar-free Metamucil, and then I use FIBERLYZE, it's like a world of difference. I said, well, you're getting a higher swell rate and you're getting insoluble fiber in there as well. And that's the difference, okay? So you get what you pay for, basically. Look, I've been doing the supplement industry now for over 15 years. I've been involved in it, in research, in making my own products. And I found that if you want the best products, you got to spend the money. The problem is that most people won't spend the extra money because they want to put that extra money in their pocket as profits. So they buy the name. If you use psyllium, who's going to know the difference between the different types of psyllium? The only reason why you guys know is because I'm explaining it to you. And if I wasn't able to explain that to you, I would never sell my product, right? Who's going to buy, FIBERLYZE if I can use Metamucil and it's a little cheaper? Well, now you know why you're spending a little bit more money, because you're getting a dual fiber supplement and you're getting a psyllium product that's the highest grade psyllium with the highest swell rate. And plus it tastes really good. And we all know that helps as well. We use a very expensive flavoring system because to make sawdust taste good, which is basically what psyllium is, sawdust, and all fiber is sawdust, you gotta have a good flavoring system in there. And so it takes a lot, to figure out how to make the stuff palatable. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to, consume it. Believe me, I'd put it in capsules if I could, but you'd be swallowing 25 capsules a day, and it just won't be fun. So it's better to put it in a scoop powder so you can mix it and take it. But I promise you, when you use it, you will notice a difference between every other fiber supplement out there.
Take a couple of more questions. One from Muscle Marinara. Dave, what are your thoughts on using fat grips or an arm blaster for bigger biceps? Are they worth the hype?
The Joe Weider arm blaster, I loved it back in the day because they had an ad with Arnold in there, and Arnold had great arms, right? And he had the arm blaster. It's like this metal thing that goes along your chest, and your arm's sitting there, and it looks cool, and it really peaks those biceps. And you see Arnold doing those bicep curls with that arm blaster, and everyone's like, "Yo, you got to have it." And all the gyms had it back in the day because it wasn't really an expensive piece of equipment. Matter of fact, I even did a photo shoot with it. Pierre Bernal put it on me. And my arms look like they're 28 inches in this thing. I mean, I got to find these pictures somewhere on the internet, probably on my computer somewhere too. But it's basically simulating a preacher curl. Personally, I'd rather put my arm, one arm at a time, over a preacher bench and just really squeeze and get that contraction that way, as opposed to that arm blaster that kind of digs into the back of your arm. The arm blaster looks good, but it's not really that functional.
Last question. I know this is a topic that you're particularly fond of in terms of spreading exactly the message as to why you believe in it. Carlos Domar, can you give a deep explanation of why we should try to be as alkaline or alkalinic as possible?
The late David Paul, may he rest in peace, our barbarian brother, was such a big believer in alkalinity. I mean, he believed that the reason why we got disease and sickness and aged, prematurely is because we became too acidic, and that's why he felt that anabolic steroids weren't good. He felt that they made you totally acidic, which they might or might not. Probably the high protein diets are really what make us acidic as bodybuilders, because most of us eat pretty healthy. It's just in order to deaminate and break down all the extra protein in your body, it does add a level of acidity to your body, and that's why it's important that you take the right vitamins and minerals. You take in enough calcium. Calcium is probably the most important thing. Your body uses calcium to neutralize acidity. That's why I made the FIBERLYZE really focused around the calcium component of it. We use a chelated calcium, and chelation is a process of combining minerals with amino acids. What that does is it enables, because protein digestion starts in the stomach, it enables you to absorb your minerals in the stomach, as opposed to waiting until they get to the small intestine, and a lot of times they get lost there. So calcium is really important for neutralization of acidity. I like to drink alkaline water, between meals. Obviously not with meals. It won't matter if you have it with meals. Just to give your body a little extra helping hand in neutralizing acidity. Because if your acid levels get too high in your body, okay, your body doesn't know how to get rid of the acid, so it can release it in your stomach, and that gets people indigestion. It can release it through the skin, which will give you, breakouts, eczema, acne type stuff like that. Or it can store the acidity in your fat cells, which makes it very hard to get rid of fat in certain stubborn areas because it becomes fat resistant. In other words, your body doesn't want to let go of this toxic waste dump, basically, that it's using as a storage depot in your body. So we don't want to be acidic, okay? Plus, acidity suppresses the immune system, which means you get sick more often. So it's a good idea to be able to, drink a lot of alkaline water, take a good absorbable chelated calcium supplement, take in some greens if you have the ability to, if you're not on a strict diet, eat some green vegetables in your diet. Some people like to take green powders. I take a product called Juice Plus. I really enjoy that product. I have a link to it on my DavePalumbo.com website. Been taking that for 25 years. I feel like it really alkalinizes me as well. One thing I did notice when I used to do nutritional consulting at a gym for a little while, I had a few women that were breast cancer survivors, and whenever I tested their pH, you can do it with a simple dipstick on their saliva, they all came back super acidic. And we know that cancer thrives in an acidic state. So we want to neutralize acidity. I personally like to use apple cider vinegar, Bragg's apple cider vinegar, the unfiltered type. I find that it neutralizes acidity in my body really well. But I think that the key is to use a lot of different ways to neutralize acidity between calcium and this apple cider vinegar and alkalized water and greens. Those are going to keep your body in a more alkaline state. And don't overdo the protein. I think a lot of people eat too much protein, and not enough fat. And what they don't realize is they don't really need as much protein as they're consuming. They're getting their fat sources indirectly from their protein, and you don't want to do that. So what you can do is if you add good fats, and like I talk about essential fatty acids, monounsaturates from like macadamia nut oil, okay, a little bit of saturated fat, you can cut back your protein, okay, and keep leaner source of protein in there and just get your fat sources, okay, directly from the sources of fat that you actually design yourself, whether it be nuts, like I said, or mac oil, or whole omega-3 eggs, or wild-caught salmon. Whatever you want to do, you don't need to overdo the protein, because we know it's the excessive intake of protein that leads to acidity. So I could talk forever on this, and I don't want to confuse the subject. If anyone has any questions, you can email me, or if you want to do some kind of have me write you up a diet, I could talk about that too in my personalized coaching plans. But the bottom line is acidity is no good for not only just athletes, but it's no good for anyone.
That's going to do for this episode of Ask Dave. Again, if you haven't already seen our coverage of the 2020 Arnold Classic, go right now to RxMuscle.com. Check out our videos. Check out our contest gallery. Everything wall to wall right now at RxMuscle.com and the RxMuscle YouTube channel. For Dave Palumbo and our producer, Tyler Shore, I'm Sadiq Faruqi. We'll see you next time.